When life feels overwhelming, like you're caught in a storm with no sign of clear skies, it's easy to feel like you're drowning. The hardest times test every ounce of strength you have, pushing you to your limits. But while hardship and adversity may seem like they'll last forever, they also hold the potential to transform us. In moments like these, resilience becomes your lifeline. It's that inner strength that helps you rise, even when the weight feels unbearable. Building resilience doesn't mean forcing yourself to be okay or pretending things aren't tough. It's about learning to bend without breaking, finding ways to nurture yourself, and discovering hidden strengths. In this article, we'll dive into practical strategies for navigating tough times and how embracing resilience can help us not just survive, but thrive. We all go through those phases in life where it feels like the universe has decided to test us, piling one challenge on top of another. Whether it's losing a job, ending a relationship, or facing health issues, hardship can strike when we least expect it. During these tough times, it can feel like you're endlessly climbing a steep hill, and every step forward takes all your energy. It's draining, exhausting, and at times utterly disheartening. When you're stuck in the hardest times, it's common to feel isolated, like no one truly understands the depth of your struggle. But here's the thing. Hardship is a shared human experience. We may not face the exact same battles, but we've all faced times where life knocked the wind out of us. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional, as the psychologist Viktor Frankl once said, reminding us that while we can't always control what happens, we can choose how we respond. In the middle of hardship, it's easy to lose sight of the fact that these experiences can also build strength. Yes, it feels awful now, but these are the moments that carve out our resilience, that teach us who we are when everything else is stripped away. As tough as it is to admit, it's often through hardship that we truly learn what we're capable of enduring. How resilience helps in times of crisis. Resilience is like a muscle, one that gets stronger each time we face a new challenge. It's not about being unaffected by the tough times, but about learning how to bounce back, to rise each time we fall. You see, when life throws curveballs, resilience is what helps us pivot, adjust, and keep moving forward. Think of it like this. Resilience is your inner shock absorber. It cushions you against the impact of life's hardest moments, helping you process what's happening without getting stuck in despair. Research in psychology highlights that resilience isn't just something you're born with. According to studies, resilience is a set of behaviors, thoughts, and actions that anyone can develop over time. It's about cultivating a mindset that doesn't just endure tough times, but finds a way to grow through them. In his book, The Resilience Factor, Dr. Karen Rievich emphasizes that resilience doesn't eliminate stress or erase life's difficulties, but it does give us the power to see past them. By building resilience, you're not just getting through the hardest times, you're learning to thrive in spite of them. Building your inner resilience. So, how do you actually build resilience? It's not as simple as flipping a switch. It takes intention, effort, and patience. Resilience isn't about toughening up or denying the pain you're feeling. It's about finding ways to work with it, to harness your emotions, and use them as fuel to push forward. In the sections ahead, we'll explore some concrete strategies to strengthen your resilience and get through the toughest times. Remember, it's okay if it feels like an uphill climb, it is. But with each step, you're building the strength you'll need to tackle whatever comes next. Tip 1. Practice acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means acknowledging the reality of your situation without sugarcoating it or wishing it away. When you're in the middle of hardship, one of the hardest things to do is to accept that, yes, this is your current reality. It's natural to want to push back against it, to refuse to believe that things have gone this way. But resisting the truth often leads to more pain. Acceptance, on the other hand, is like taking a deep breath. It grounds you, allowing you to deal with the situation more calmly and effectively. Embrace the reality of the situation. Facing reality isn't easy, especially when it feels harsh or unfair. But acknowledging where you are, without denial or sugarcoating, allows you to regain a sense of control. It's like turning on the lights in a dark room. The shadows may still be there, but at least now you can see what's around you. Embracing reality helps you use your energy wisely. No more battling against the truth, but instead using that strength to navigate through it. Here's the thing, when we avoid the truth, it only compounds our stress. The anxiety of pretending everything's okay can be more exhausting than the actual hardship itself. The sooner you embrace where you are, the sooner you can start making meaningful changes to get through these tough times. And remember, this doesn't mean giving up hope. It's about finding a new path forward, rooted in what's real. Accept your emotions fully. We've been conditioned to believe that feeling sad, angry, or afraid is somehow wrong. But emotions are neither good nor bad, they just are. They're signals that something matters, that something important is at stake. Instead of pushing your feelings away, try to sit with them. Allow yourself to feel hurt, scared, or even frustrated. It's okay to cry, to scream, or to write out every angry thought in a journal. Accepting your emotions doesn't mean they'll consume you. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Once you fully acknowledge what you're feeling, the intensity often fades, like a wave crashing against the shore. Psychologist Dr. Susan David, author of Emotional Agility, explains, "Only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light." By accepting your feelings, you create space for healing and growth, instead of wasting energy trying to bury what's already there. Grieving your losses. Hardship often brings loss, whether it's a person, a job, or simply the life you imagined for yourself. Grieving is your mind's way of processing those losses, and it's a journey that takes time. There's no fast-forward button, no skipping to the part where it hurts less. And that's okay. Grief isn't just about sadness. Sometimes it shows up as anger, numbness, or even relief. All these emotions are valid. Give yourself the grace to experience them without judgment. Grieving is how we honor what we've lost, and it's through this process that we find a way to live again. As counselor David Kessler, a prominent figure in grief work, says, "Grief is not a problem to be solved, it's a process to be lived." When you allow yourself to grieve fully, you're not just saying goodbye to what's gone, you're also making space for what's yet to come. Healing can only begin when we face our pain, rather than running from it. Tip 2. Reach out for support. We often convince ourselves that we have to get through the hardest times alone. But the truth is, reaching out for support doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. When life feels like it's crumbling around you, having someone to lean on can make all the difference. Research shows that social support is one of the most powerful predictors of resilience. Connecting with others, whether it's friends, family, or a therapist, can lift you up when you feel like you can't stand on your own. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Sometimes it's as simple as sending a text to a friend or asking someone to listen while you vent. And if you don't feel comfortable opening up to someone in your life, there are online communities, support groups, and mental health professionals who are ready to listen. Just remember, you don't have to carry this burden alone. Even in the toughest times, there are people who want to help, if you let them in. Tip 3. Prioritize self-care. When life feels like a relentless storm, it's easy to forget the importance of taking care of yourself. But during tough times, self-care becomes even more critical. It's not a luxury, but a necessity. Imagine trying to drive a car on an empty tank. That's exactly what happens when you neglect your well-being. Self-care can mean different things for different people. It might be taking a quiet walk in nature, indulging in your favorite book, or simply giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. It's not selfish to put yourself first. In fact, it's one of the most compassionate things you can do. When you nurture yourself, you're better able to face whatever challenges come your way. A great self-care practice is mindfulness meditation. Studies show that just 10 minutes of mindfulness can significantly reduce stress levels and improve emotional resilience. When we slow down, breathe deeply, and center ourselves, we're better equipped to handle even the hardest times. Don't overlook the basics either. Eating nutritious meals, staying hydrated, and getting enough sleep are the foundations of self-care. These simple acts can give you the energy and clarity to face whatever lies ahead. Remember, you deserve to feel good, even if the world around you feels heavy. Tip 4. Seek meaning and purpose. In the depths of hardship, finding meaning can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. Yet, seeking purpose is one of the most effective ways to transform pain into something more bearable. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, famously wrote in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, that those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. This idea speaks volumes about the human spirit's capacity to endure hardship if there's a deeper sense of purpose driving us forward. So, how do we find meaning during the toughest times? Sometimes it's about redefining your values or reconnecting with a passion that you've neglected. It might also mean helping others who are struggling. Volunteering, for example, can give you a renewed sense of purpose. When we lift others up, we often find that our own burdens become lighter. Reflect on what matters most to you. Journaling can be a great tool for this. Write about what you've learned through hardship, the strengths you didn't realize you had, or the values that guide your actions. By doing this, you're not just surviving tough times, you're using them as a catalyst for personal growth. Tip 5. Stay motivated and hopeful. Keeping hope alive when the world feels bleak isn't easy, but it's one of the most powerful tools for getting through hard times. Motivation doesn't always come naturally, especially when you're exhausted, but there are ways to cultivate it. Start with small, achievable goals. It's easier to stay motivated when you focus on what you can control today rather than worrying about an uncertain future. One way to reignite your motivation is to celebrate small wins. Did you manage to get out of bed and face another day? That's a victory. Did you take 5 minutes to meditate, even if it didn't go perfectly? That counts too. By acknowledging these small victories, you build momentum and remind yourself that progress is possible, even if it's just one step at a time. Hope isn't just wishful thinking, it's a mindset that believes things can improve. Surround yourself with positivity, whether it's through uplifting books, podcasts, or simply spending time with people who make you feel seen and heard. Hope acts as a lifeline, pulling you through even the darkest days. When you nurture hope, you're not just surviving, you're preparing yourself for better days ahead.